Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nidhinavine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So this morning we were speaking about 60 qualities of Krishna. We haven't yet come to the other 64. We spoke first about the 50 qualities which are present in Krishna in fullness and all the time. Whereas for Krishna paripurnataya bhati. So in Krishna is present in completeness always. And in the jivas, jiveshvete vasantopi bindu bindutaya kvachit. In some jivas, it is present in very minute quantity and sometimes. And we also saw that these qualities are present in the pure devotees of the Lord. These qualities manifest, but in very, very minute quantity. I think we also know the shloka from the Bhagavatam, Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavatera Kanchana Sarvair Gunais Tatra Mahasate Sura Tasyakat Kuto Mahatguna Manorathe Nasati Dhavato Bahi. Which means that in those who have surrendered to Krishna and are his pure devotees, all the good qualities of not just the devas, the demigods, but even Krishna, they appear. But as we mentioned earlier, we must remember the jivas are very tiny. So bindu taya, only in drop form, compared to the ocean in which they exist in Krishna. And then there are 5 other qualities that exist in Lord Shiva, which of course exist in Krishna in complete fullness, again paripurnataya bhati. And these exist in Shiva anshena, partially. So which are these 5 qualities? Can you tell the Sanskrit names? Sada Svarupa Sampraptaha, always situated in his constitutional position. Second, Sarvagyaha, knows everything. Third, Nitya Nutanaha. Maharaj, please come here. I didn't notice, I just saw Maharaj just sitting there. Maharaj, it is risky to associate with you. One day we will also become humble if we go on like this. So Sada Svarupa Samprapta Sarvagyo Nitya Nutanaha. Sarvagya means all knowing. Third is Sarvagya, which means Nitya Nutana, which means fresh and youthful. Which is the fourth one? Satchidananda Sandrangaha, whose body is a condensed form of eternity, knowledge and bliss. And remember, this quality applies for Lord Shiva as it does for Krishna, but in Krishna it is in completeness. As Jiva Goswami has said, this exists for Krishna, very similar, in Shiva, very similar to Krishna. So I think this will increase our appreciation of Lord Shiva and keep us away from all controversies about Vishnu versus Shiva and so on and so forth. Yes? And finally, Sarva Siddhi Nishevitaha, which means he is equipped with all kinds of yogic powers. And then we saw, in addition to this, there are 5 more qualities present in Krishna in completeness, which are also present in Lord Narayan, but not present in Lord Shiva. And we discussed them. Which are the ones? Do you remember? Avichintya Mahashaktihi. So Avichintya, which means that is beyond our Chintan Shakti, which is beyond our power of comprehension. So the Supreme Lord's powers cannot be conceived by us. It's just an intellectual thing. We can say he is the controller of all the universes, but even that doesn't even touch a fraction of the Lord's actual powers, which are infinite. We cannot put our fingers on it. There is no way to understand the actual extent of the Lord's powers. It's not possible. And this specifically because here we're dealing with these 5 extra qualities that Lord Narayan has that Lord Shiva does not have. So specifically this refers, as Jiva Goswami says, to Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. And after that, the second quality, Koti Brahmanda Vigraha. He is the origin of multiple or innumerable material universes. And this applies to Mahavishnu specifically. Third, Avataravali Bijam, the seed or the origin of a string of avatars. Avali means a row or multiple, many, one after the other. So, the Lord is the origin. Krishna is the origin of all the avatars. But as we discussed, it is not wrong to say from the perspective of the material world or a resident of the material world that the Lord comes through the Purusha avatars. So we address this whole controversy of whether Krishna is the origin of Vishnu, Vishnu is the origin of Krishna. So we know that Krishna is the origin of Vishnu and all other forms of Godhead. That is a given that we know. At the same time, there is no difference between them in Tattva, and when they appear into the world, avatar, avatarati iti avataraha. One who descends into this world is an avatar. So they manifest through the medium of these Purusha avatars. So in that sense, it is not wrong to say that the Purusha avatars like Shirodakashaya, Vishnu, etc. are the source of Krishna. That Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu. So the next time we meet, there is no need to argue on this point with others. The fundamental point is clear. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And what is the next point? Hatari Gati Dayakaha. Now this was the astonishing point, isn't it? Hata means to kill, Ari means the enemy, Gati means a higher destination, and Dayakaha means one who gives. So Krishna gives, anyone who is killed by the Supreme Lord in general gives a higher destination to the one who is killed. Now remember, we are referring to enemies of Krishna. or the Supreme Lord, not the devotees of Krishna. Keep that in mind. So, when Krishna kills enemies, then they are delivered. They may either go into the impersonal Brahmajyoti, or they may go to Vaikuntha, or they may even go into Goloka at some part of Goloka. But when the other forms of Krishna, like the Vishnu forms, or Lord Ramachandra, Lord Narasimha, kill the enemies, it's not necessary that they will go to the spiritual world. It's only when Krishna kills the enemies that they go to the spiritual world directly. And even in the 7th canto and in various places, there are extensive descriptions of this one point. So, you see, it's not hard to imagine who goes to heaven in general, according to Bhagavad Gita philosophy. Who goes? Prabhya punyakritam lokan, right? Punyakritam. So those who perform pious activities, they go to the heavenly planets. Whereas these asuras, these demons, are most sinful. So how can ordinarily they go to the heavenly planets? They can't. So which means that even to go to the heavenly planets, the asuras need to be killed by the Lord, or they need some direct intervention of the Supreme Lord. So the expansions of the Lord, like Narasimha, Ram, Narayan, Vishnu forms, they kill and they may send them to some higher destination within the material world. But the highest destination, Gati, which is the spiritual world and ultimately Goloka Vrindavan, that is given only by Krishna. And in the break, somebody asked me a question which I thought I mentioned it earlier, but the fact that the question was asked meant that perhaps it escaped attention. Who are we talking about here? Devotees or demons? Demons. So the question was, well, what about those who are devotees of Lord Ram? Don't they go to the spiritual world? Now, how would you answer this question? All the pure devotees of the forms of Godhead, whether it's Vishnu, Narayan, Narasimha, Ram, Varaha, etc., they will all go to the spiritual world. But here, what are we talking about? Enemies, not the devotees. Okay? And finally, Atma Rama Ganakarshi. Atma Ramas are those who are self-satisfied. And Krishna attracts them completely, wholeheartedly. And all forms of the Lord also can do that, and we've seen the example, the 4 Kumaras. And finally we have here, Iti Ami Krishne Kiladbhutaha. So certainly these qualities above, which means the 5 extra qualities that also are found in Lord Shiva, but not in the Jivas, and the further 5 qualities that are found in Lord Narayan, and not even found in Lord Shiva, these qualities, and indeed all the other previous 50 qualities, they exist in Krishna in an astonishing way. Adbhuta. The word Adbhuta means that which strikes wonder, which induces astonishment in the heart of somebody who is hearing or reading or thinking about it. So in what ways can we say that these qualities, these 60 qualities, exist in other personalities, but they exist in Krishna in completeness? So Srila Jiva Goswami has explained, because Krishna is playing the role of a human. He's not a human. He's never a human. He always remains the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he does appear within the human society. And then it is called Naralila. Elsewhere, in other places, Srila Rupa Goswami has explained that when the Supreme Lord performs Naralila or human-like pastimes, those pastimes are the sweetest of them all. The Lord is always sweet and transcendental in all his forms, And therefore all his pastimes are sweet. But there is also a difference in the taste, in the rasa. As His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj explained this morning, there is tattva and there is rasa. So in rasa, there is some distinction to be made in the various forms of Godhead. In Krishna, the rasa, rasena utkrishyate. So the rasa finds its peak. The sweetness finds its limits of perfection in Krishna. So therefore, when Krishna appears in a human-like form, then these pastimes are displayed in an even more astonishing way. So, it is not that he doesn't possess these powers when he comes within human society. He is still the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he still exhibits these powers as a human, in a human-like way. That's what makes it more astonishing. For example, a baby killing Putana, Krishna is a baby, is astonishing because she was a fierce, very powerful demoness. But a little baby, Krishna killed Putana. So if you look at it from Krishna's point of view, Avichintya Mahashakti, he's got inconceivable strength. So what is so surprising and astonishing if he kills Putana? Nothing great. Like for example, if there's a powerful Olympic boxer or a wrestler or something, and if he defeats a small baby, what's the big thing in that? Yes? But the fact that Krishna is playing the part of a child, a human child, and he still does that, that's what makes it even more astonishing. And that goes for all of Krishna's pastimes, including, let's say, his lifting of the Govardhan hill. 7-year-old boy, and he lifts an entire hill very effortlessly. Krida kandukatam yena nito govardhana giri. So like a toy, he lifts it up. And then he holds it up smiling for 7 days and 7 nights. Astonishing. Because he is a 7-year-old human child or a human-like child doing this. So this is the first reason why Srila Jiva Goswami says this is Adbhuta, that these qualities exist in Krishna in a very astonishing way. And just in order to illustrate this point, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and also Srila Jiva Goswami cite some verses. I'm just citing one amongst them, which is from the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we'll chant this. It's a nice verse, and then we'll read the translation, discuss it briefly. Yanmartya lilo paikam swayoga maya balam darshayata grihitam vismapanam swasya cha saubhagardhe param padam bhushana bhushanangam. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yogamaya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. This form is wonderful, for even the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha, because it is the highest perfection of beauty, enhancing the beauty of all ornaments. So the first point is that the Lord, when he appears in the world, he appears in his original spiritual form. This is Bhagavad Gita 101. Yes? We learn this in the very beginning of our Krishna consciousness, but it's such an important principle, theological principle, that when the Lord appears, his body is not material. It is made of internal energy. Second, he appears in his eternal form. That form that is constituted of the internal energy is an eternal form. Second point. Third, it is just suitable for his pastimes. Leela Upayikam. So whatever pastimes he does, Krishna acts according to that. If he's in the body of a fish, he acts like a fish. In the body of a human child, he acts like a human child. And still he retains his inconceivable potencies, and he displays that sometimes. So this is how the forms that he assumes for specific pastimes are adopted according to the need of that pastime, to make it relishable, to make it sweeter. And the form is so wonderful, Vismapanam, which means astonishing. Vismaya means surprise or astonishment. So the form of Krishna is so astonishing that even his expansions, like the form of Vaikuntha, Narayan, he also becomes struck with wonder. Because this form of Krishna is the perfection of beauty, Param Padam. And Bhushana Bhushanangam means he is the ornament of the ornaments. Generally, people wear all sorts of ornaments or cosmetics or whatever it is to beautify their body. But for Krishna, the ornaments become more beautiful because they are placed on him. So in this way we see why when these qualities, these 60 qualities, when they are displayed by Krishna, they become even more astonishing. Another reason is that Krishna awards the goal of liberation and even bhakti to those he kills. Whereas thus for Krishna, it is the ability to do this that is astonishing. It surpasses that of Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu, etc., as we saw earlier. So, you remember the examples of those killed by the expansions who had to take birth again? One or two examples quickly. Kamsa. Kamsa was born as Kalanemi, born as Kamsa, killed by Lord Vishnu, but didn't go back to Godhead. Had to take birth as Kamsa, and as Kamsa, then he was killed by Krishna, then he was sent to the spiritual world. Similarly, we saw in the case of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and they could go back to Godhead only when they took the forms of Shishupala and Dantavakra, when they were killed by Krishna. Of course, this was a special case, being Jaya and Vijay, etc. And the third point is actually that for those who are premi bhaktas of Krishna, due to absorption in the prema of Krishna, these are not actually causes of amazement at all. Sometimes the amazement may come, but otherwise, because they love him so much, it's just part of their existence. For example, when the cowherd boys used to go out to play along with the calves or the cows, and sometimes the demigods would come, and Brahma would come with his 4 heads, and then they would do arati of Krishna. And the cowherd boys, this was a source of amusement for them. Who are these yellow skin, golden complexion people with so many heads coming here and doing all this arati for Krishna? And so for them it is okay, it's fine, it's just another thing. Yeah, he's our friend, he does all these things. He lifts Govardhan, he kills the asura. It's because they are so absorbed in that prema. For them, this doesn't even seem astonishing. For them, it simply increases the sweetness of their love for him. And this is the speciality of Vrindavan. Displays of opulence, displays of power of this sort, it diminishes the sweetness of and intimacy of the love of devotees in Vaikuntha or even in Dwarka and Mathura. The love is there, but it becomes a little more imbued with awe and reverence. And that feeling of very close intimacy with the Lord is hampered a little bit. As in the case of Devaki and Vasudev, when they saw Krishna after he had killed Kamsa and the other wrestlers in Mathura. Whereas for the residents of Vrindavan, displays of opulence like the lifting of Govardhan, they only increase the sweetness. Even when they know that Krishna is God. They may know or they may not know. But any display of Aishwarya or opulence increases the sweetness in Vrindavan. So therefore in Vrindavan they are so absorbed in the sweetness of Krishna that everything that Krishna does is for them full of sweetness. So there doesn't need to be a sense of astonishment in their part. So anyway, so these are the 60 qualities that exist in fullness in Krishna. And then there are these 4 extra qualities that reside in Lord Krishna alone. And they are not there even in Lord Narayan of Vaikuntha. Now, as we've discussed earlier, Krishna and Narayan are one and the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Tattva, they are one. They are the same. But in Rasa, they are different. So these 4 qualities, they especially emphasize that Rasa. So this is how Krishna is superior. Not only in terms of how the 60 qualities are exhibited in an even more astonishing way in Krishna, but also that in addition to those 60 qualities, Krishna has these 4 qualities which are not found in Lord Narayan also. So let's see what it says here. Sarvadbhuta chamatkara Leela kallola varidhi Atulya madhura prema Mandita priya mandalaha Trijagan manasakarshi Murali kalakuchitaha Asamanordharupa Shri Vismapita Characharaha. Apart from these 60 transcendental qualities, Krishna has an additional 4 transcendental qualities which are not manifested even in the personality of Narayan. These are, number 1, Krishna is like an ocean filled with waves of pastimes that evoke wonder within everyone in the 3 worlds. And that is Sarva Adbhuta Chamatkara Leela Kallola Varidhihi. The word Adbhuta comes here again. Adbhuta refers to, again, Krishna's capacity to astonish. Sarva Adbhuta Chamatkara. Chamatkara again is a sense of wonder, like a miraculous kind of thing. And they evoke wonder within the whole world. What evokes wonder? Krishna's Leela, which are like waves in an ocean. So Krishna's pastimes, beautiful pastimes, are like an ocean full of nectarian waves that strike a sense of wonder in the hearts of everybody. And this is also actually called, there are the 4 madhuris, 4 sweetness, right? So this is which madhuri? Leela Madhuri. Second, in his activities of conjugal love, he is always surrounded by his dear devotees who possess unequaled love for him. This is Atulya Madhura Prema Mandita Priya Mandalaha. Atulya means incomparable. Madhura Prema refers to the Shringar Ras, Madhuri Ras, Prema Manditaha. Mandita means one who is equipped with or adorned with. Priya Mandalaha. Mandala refers to his circle of devotees, his dear devotees, who are adorned with this Madhurya Ras or the Shringar Ras. So this is not found anywhere else in any other form of the Lord. So this is called which Madhuri? Prema Madhuri. Third, he attracts the minds of all three worlds with the melodious vibration of his flute. Tri Jagan Manasakarshi Murali Kalapujitaha. Actually, Manasakarshi. Yeah. So, Trijagan means the three worlds. Manasa Akarshi attracts the minds of the three worlds. Murali is the flute. Kala Kujitaha. Kala means the sound. Kujita means the melodious notes. Like when a cuckoo also sings, is called Kujitaha, the cooing of a bird, or the sweet notes of the flute of Krishna. So they mesmerize the entire universe. And there is a chapter in the 10th canto called Venu Geet. You all heard of this, in which Srila Shukadev Goswami describes the effects that the flute of Krishna has on various categories of people. Not just on Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Indra and the other residents of the higher planets, then the animals in Vraja like the peacocks and the calves and the cows and the deer and the trees and the lakes and the rivers in Vraja, and then the other Vrajavasis and especially the gopis. So not just the residents of Vrindavan, but by Krishna's flute playing, the entire universe is struck with wonder. So, Tri Jagan Manasakarshi Murali Kala Kujitaha. And then, number 4, his personal beauty and opulence are beyond compare. Asaman Urdhva Rupa Shri Vismapita Characharaha. So, Saman means equal, Urdhva means more. A means no, it's a negation. Okay, so Asaman means there's no one equal to him, and the applies to Urdhva also. So there's no one greater than him. Naturally, there's no one equal to him. There can't be anyone greater than him or more powerful than him. So, or in any way, the Rupa and Shri, so the form and opulence of Krishna are unparalleled. There is no one equal to or greater than Krishna in that respect. And Vismapita, again, he astonishes all living entities, Chara Acharaha, within the three worlds. So this is which Madhuri? Rupa Madhuri. So there is Venu Madhuri, and now finally there is Rupa Madhuri. So these are the 4 Madhuris, and Srila Prabhupada completes the translation of the verse by saying, he is so beautiful that he is called Krishna. Because the word Krishna means all attractive. Yes? So these are the 4. So can you please say aloud the 4 Madhuris? First one, Leela Madhuri. Second, Prema Madhuri. Third, Venu Madhuri. Fourth, Rupa Madhuri. Yeah. And in order to illustrate this is a very important verse, actually speaking, to illustrate how there is a difference in rasa between Krishna and his expansions like the forms of Narayan. This is originally in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but also found in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anyone knows where this verse particularly appears in the Chaitanya Charitamrita? In which conversation does it appear? Venkata Bhatta and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sri Rangam, where there is a discussion. Krishna asks Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks Venkata Bhatta as to why Lakshmi Devi, wants to participate in the Rasa Leela. Why she's so attracted to Krishna when she is the wife of the Lord Vishnu. So in that there's a beautiful conversation that happens there. Very instructive and full of theological conclusions. And one of the beautiful verses that comes up there is this one, very important from a theological point of view for us to understand. Siddhantatastva abhedepi Shrisha Krishna Swarupayo Rasenotkrishhyate Krishna Rupamesha Rasasthitihi. Shall we chant this one more time? Siddhantatastva bhedepi Shrisha Krishna Swarupayo Rasenotkrishhyate Krishna Rupamesha Rasasthitihi. Though the forms of Vishnu and Krishna are non-different according to the statements of scripture, Krishna's form is shown to be superior because of his rasas, which are endowed with the highest type of prema. The very nature of his rasa shows Krishna's form as superior. Siddhantataha. So as far as the conclusion, Siddhanta of the scripture is concerned, tu abheda, abhede. Abhed means no difference. So according to the conclusions of the Shastra, there is no difference between whom? Shrisha on one hand and Krishna on the other hand. The Svarupa or the identity of Krishna and Shrisha is one. Who is Shrisha? Shri is Lakshmi, Isha means the Lord. So the Lord of Lakshmi is Vishnu or Narayan. So, in the point of view of the Siddhantic conclusion, there is no difference between Krishna and Narayan in Tattva, as Maharaj explained this morning. But however, Rasena Utkrishyate Krishna. Utkrishyate means superior, something much better. So Krishna's form is superior because it is endowed, because of the rasas which are endowed with the highest type of prema. And this nature is the Krishna Rupam Esha Rasasthitihi. So the very nature of his rasa shows Krishna's form as superior. So essentially, when you ask is it same or not, this idea of Achintya Bheda is very, very important for us. Yes, it doesn't apply only in one area of our philosophy. There are multiple areas of philosophy where you can apply the Achintya Bheda principle simultaneously, one and different. Yes, for example, the material world and Krishna, Achintya Bheda, the energetic and the energy, the jiva and the material world, both are energies of Krishna. Right? At the same time, there is difference as well. The jiva and Krishna, simultaneously inconceivable, one and different. Then all the other expansions of Krishna with respect to his expansions, simultaneously one and different, like that. The simultaneous one and difference exists in different ways in all these different categories. But the principle of Achintya Bheda remains. And so also it does in a very beautiful manner between Krishna and his expansions. Okay? And, yeah. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concludes now his teachings to Sanatana Goswami. You remember that those sections were from here, from Sanatana Shiksha. Leela premna priyadhikyam madhuryam venurupayoh ityasadharanam proktam govindasya chatuштayam evam gunas chaturbhedas chatushashtir udaharitah. Above Narayana, Krishna has 4 specific transcendental qualities. His wonderful pastimes, Leela, an abundance of wonderful associates who are very dear to him like the gopis, Premna, Priyadhikyam, Madhuryam. Then third, his wonderful beauty and wonderful vibration of his flute, Venu Rupayoho. Lord Krishna is more exalted than ordinary living beings and demigods like Lord Shiva. Iti asadharanam proktam. He is more exalted than even his personal expansion, Narayana. In all, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has 64 transcendental qualities in full. So this is just a summary or a conclusion of the 4 extra qualities that Krishna has. So Chatushtayam means 4 and Chaturbhedaha means the divisions. So Krishna's 64 qualities, Chatuh Shashtihi, his 64 qualities have 4 divisions, which we'll see in a moment. And the last category has also 4, Chatushtayam, Govindasya Chatushtayam. So Govinda or Krishna has these extra 4 qualities. So the 4 divisions of Krishna's 64 qualities, the first 50, all 64 are found in Krishna in completeness. First 50 found in the jivas, sometimes not, in minute quantity. The first 55 are found in Shiva and great personalities like him. The first 60 are found in Narayan in completeness, but all 64 are found in Krishna in completeness and in all sweetness. So, okay. So Jiva Goswami also says that one can think of Lord Krishna's qualities in 2 ways. Those which astonish by presenting aspects of Krishna as the Lord, and second, those which astonish by presenting Lord Krishna's human pastimes. So we discussed that briefly earlier, that those pastimes in which Krishna does his Nara Leela are more sweet compared to those Rasena Utkrishyate, compared to those performed by others. And we'll conclude today's session with this verse. I'll just read the translation. For him who orchestrates the creation, maintenance and destruction of the 3 worlds, and who possesses unlimited spiritual qualities, it is hardly amazing that he subdues an opposing party. Still, when the Lord does so, imitating human behavior, sages glorify his acts. So another example from the Srimad Bhagavatam of how Krishna's Nara Leelas are so astonishing and beautiful. Prapancham nishprapanchopi vidambayasi bhutale prapanna janatananda sandoham pratitum prabho. My dear Master, although you have nothing to do with material existence, you come to this earth and imitate material life just to expand the varieties of ecstatic enjoyment for your surrendered devotees. This verse is actually very important because it tells us the most important reason for Krishna's advent into this world. He descends here, and this is also quoted by our acharyas in their purport to these verses, that the primary reason for Krishna's coming here is to give pleasure to his devotees. Multiple reasons have been offered in the scriptures, and all of them are correct. In the Bhagavad Gita, we have some reasons. Kunti Maharani states so many reasons in her prayers, and all of these are of course correct. However, the ultimate reason, the real internal reason for Krishna descending into this material world is to give pleasure to his devotees. He has nothing to do with this material world, but still vidambayasi bhutale, he comes and imitates life in the material world. He'll play like a human child, he'll act just like he's an ordinary human being. Prapanna janata ananda sandoham. So prapanna janata, those who are surrendered to him, to expand the varieties of their enjoyment, ecstatic prema, Krishna descends. So therefore, this actually shows the topmost quality of Krishna. He exhibits these topmost four qualities, the four madhuris, because he wants to increase the enjoyment of his dear associates, and these acts also give him enormous happiness. Okay, so we'll stop here for a short break, and right, 4:15 to 5:15, isn't it? 1 hour? Yeah. No, then Maharaj will speak from 5:30 to 6:30. Okay. So we won't have questions now. You can reserve your questions for tomorrow, because I wanted to complete this theme. Tomorrow we'll start discussing one by one all the qualities of Krishna as described by Rupa Goswami. Meanwhile, we can also focus on the wonderful qualities of the devotees that we can see around us and see how they reflect also Krishna's qualities. That's also very important. It's not enough to just say we appreciate Krishna, but we don't appreciate the devotees. So Krishna is more pleased with us when we will appreciate his devotees' qualities. We saw how humble His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj was. He went and quietly sat in the middle somewhere. It reminded me of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who went and sat in one corner somewhere when he was meeting with the sannyasis headed by Prakash Ananda Saraswati. So thank you, Maharaj, for exhibiting these nice qualities. And so now we'll have a little break, and then 5:30 Maharaj will continue Madhurya Kadambini. Hare Krishna.